Hello, everybody. Good afternoon, good morning, or good evening, depending on where you are in the world. I usually start that way because I do work internationally with women's leadership development through the UN and various NGOs that work with grassroots women's groups around the world. But I also work here in the United States as a women's leadership development champion. And today I'm kind of centering my talk around, I did write a book about that, Unstoppable Women, Owning Our Voices and Leading Change, which is, it's kind of a guide for how to step into your leadership. I believe all women have what it takes to be leaders. And especially in the new leadership paradigm, it used to be the old curmudgeon sitting in the office yelling at everybody. But now it's what used to be called soft skills, compassion, communication, empathy, those kinds of things are now sought after as leadership skills because they find that they empower people that you are trying to move along a certain journey on a passion or a shared idea. And so those are considered leadership skills, and women are good at them. But today I wanted to really kind of focus a little bit on the first step I think is the most important in leadership is self-reflection. And I know that Dawn talked a little bit about it, and even Beverly talked a little bit about it, that to be a good leader, you have to know yourself. You have to know what's important to you. You have to know what's your passion, what are your values. And women, as women, so often we don't do that. We don't take the time to think about ourselves. We're so busy juggling all kinds of different activities and responsibilities, whether you're a mom, a daughter, a wife, a partner, working in the working world. We're running so fast that we just don't sometimes slow down and learn about ourselves. And you're keeping company with yourself 24/7, so you should know yourself a little bit better. So I think that the reason I think that self-reflection and leadership impacts your mental health is because, well, for an example, how often have you been in a room where you're not taken seriously, or where your voice isn't even heard, or you say something and you're passionate about it and you're told that you're being either too aggressive or hysterical? Those things weigh upon us. Those things, um, you know, challenge our confidence, as Dawn was saying, and really we start questioning ourselves. Who are we? What are we? Do we have anything to say? Is it important enough to say? And so we sometimes step back. I know that in my life, I grew up in a time where there were women were seen and not heard, and we were not given a lot of options when it came to careers. I know in high school, all my friends were male friends were being saying, oh, you can be a doctor, you can be a lawyer, you can be a pilot, you can be this. And I was told, well, you can be a teacher, you can be a nurse, or you can be a secretary. Back then they called them secretaries. And those are not bad careers. They're just, I wanted options. I wanted more options to consider. And that weighs on you. That it weighed on me. I got frustrated. I got a bit angry, and those negative emotions really do impact your well-being. And once again, you start having that self-doubt. Why am not being considered? Am I not good enough? Those little saboteurs that sit on our shoulders, or that imposter syndrome. So I think that doing the reflection and stepping into your leadership is really important to your well-being. So what's in it for you? I mean, we all ask that, why should I be doing this? And once again, it's getting to know who you are. It's being honest with yourself. It's identifying what's important, what's front of heart, so that when you start determining where you're going to put your energy, where you're going to work, what you want to accomplish, what you want to impact in the world, because you're doing it from a place of your own authentic self. what is important to you. And so that's one aspect of why leadership, I think, is important for every woman to step into. And whether it doesn't have to be a corporate office. It doesn't have to be, running for politics. It can just sometimes be in your own life. If you know what you want and what's important to you, you show up in your relationships better. You are, showing up more honestly in your relationship creates trust. It creates better connection. So, when I talk about leadership, sometimes it's the everyday little things that make leaders. And in my book, I do give quite a few stories of women who have stepped into leadership. And sometimes, well, many times, they have not done it because they woke up one morning and said, "Oh, I want to be a leader. I'm going to go do this." Oftentimes, especially with women in developing countries, it's because they had to, for survival, for taking care of their family. They had to make some decisions and lead something in their community to better their lives. And what I do is I go and you know, work with these women and work with all women on how do you discover what are your strengths? Because when you know your strengths, then you also can identify where there might be some gaps. And I'm not saying we have to learn everything. We can, superwomen is a myth. And I really believe it was society trying to make us crazier so that we were trying to do everything. And then we couldn't concentrate on things that were necessarily important to us. I mean, I did that. I was a doctor's wife in Texas, and there was a certain expectation. I had a daughter, which I adored doing things with her, but she was nationally ranked in her equestrian sport. So I was constantly with her. I didn't have time to think about myself. I didn't have time. So I had to do some self-reflection. I had to step back and say, okay, what is it important? And it happened that my daughter had a stroke when she was in her first year in college. And it really made me rethink what a life. I mean, here was this young woman who became a hemiplegic. She was totally paralyzed on her left side for a while. And if that can happen at 18, what can happen to me at my age as a parent? And so that's when I really stopped and started reflecting on what was important to me and what did I want to accomplish. But to get back to these women, I mean, once you identify your strengths and your gaps, you can help get people around you, surround you with people that are able to do things that maybe you don't do as well. That's their strength, and people can work towards their strengths. But so once they discovered that, and you really do the self-reflection to find that out, then you can start developing those traits, those strengths, the communication skills, your empathy, your emotional intelligence. And once you've done that, then the next big thing is to learn how to use them strategically. And I think that goes back to um, what was being said earlier about burnout. If you try and do everything and are everything to all people and not to yourself, you will burn out. We only have a certain amount of energy, and we have to decide how we want to use it. So basically, my process is that I work with women is to help them discover their leadership capabilities that are rooted in their own voice, their own values, their own passions, and then help them and walk with them on their path to finding where they can have the greatest impact, or change things they might not like, or feel like they have a good idea and want to share it because they think it could improve something, or just even they want to take on the bake sale at school. I don't know if they have those anymore, but they did in my years. And you know, go ahead and take a leadership in creating an event. I mean, it doesn't, like I said, have to be corporate or C-suite, or you want to be the leader of the world. It's just in your own life, in your own community, or stepping up and leading in your business. So that's what I do, and I love doing it. My mission really in life is to create a movement of women leaders. I think we need them. We face challenges differently. We empower people differently, and I think that we need that more now than ever. And I want women to have their voice heard. We have something to say, and it is important. We are the experts of our lived experiences. So we have a unique perspective, and that's what I want all women to recognize and embrace. So thank you very much to Elizabeth and Elton for having me. And I love being with this panel. There's so many good ideas, and just thank you.
Wow, that was pretty amazing, Kathy. Kathy and I had been trying to connect for a while, so I'm so glad that you finally came on the show. And I'm going to bring Jacob, and he's going to give you an outstanding presentation in a minute. But first of all, I want to thank each of you. You could have been somewhere else, but you chose to be with me on a Saturday. And I just wanted to show appreciation. You're watching Discover Brightside. This is Empower Health. This is our 6th year of health and wellness. And every month, I bring speakers to empower you on a different topic. So next month, we'll be empowering men, and Empower America is in July, and Empower Global will be in August. So stay tuned, make sure you subscribe, and if you would like to be a speaker on our channel, make sure you write us a comment or get in touch with us. We are available at discoverbrightside.com. All these videos will be on our webpage, discoverbrightside.com/health. So if you want to enjoy these videos and you missed coming on, you can watch this at your own leisure. It'll also be available on all our channels. And so if you subscribe, then you will be alerted on when you can see it. So my next speaker is Jacob, and I really enjoyed meeting Jacob because of his passion. He was so passionate that it really, his product and his book came to life. And I thought that he would make a wonderful addition to this panel. And after Jacob, we will have Coach Debbie. She's going to really share her experience as a survivor of cancer. And so this is now our oncology session. Over to you, Jason. And what we'll do, Jason, we'll hit the record. Jacob, I'm sorry, Jacob. We will hit the record button, and then you can start recording. So I'll stop recording here.